Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. And in the last episode, guys, the plan has been hatched between Carmen, Seraphim, and Sleeper, along with Overseer, to infiltrate Darkside once again and try and take Lane down. Now, at the end of the last episode, I debated on whether we needed to go ahead and repair all of Sleeper's dice, and you guys let me know in the comments that probably would be the smartest course of action, so I went ahead and adhered to that. And I went and did some stuff all around to break Sleeper's dice and got as much of it repaired as possible. We have 3 full dice and 2 that have just a little bit of damage, and hopefully that'll be enough to really get us through this endgame. So, with that out of the way, with full fuel and supplies, dice in good shape, let us go ahead and finally travel to Darkside. No crew selected, so who are we going to take for this? Now, we're pretty much a jack of all trades, master of none. Let us... Man, I am not... Actually, engagement skill is really what we need to go for, isn't it? Do we have anyone with, like, decent... Well, we've got Cadet. We haven't really ran with Cadet at all, have we? So maybe we go with Cadet and... Man, that is a powerhouse. Let's go with Junie. I think Junie's just going to help us out quite a bit. No, maybe Flint. Cadet and Flint. We haven't been able to run with them in a while. We still have Nia, or Naya. I think this is good. We're pretty decent on computers now ourselves anyway. And we need to see what happens here. So, because we can't take anyone else. Let's go. That might be a bad call, but the die is cast. Alright, Sleeper. You want to do the honors? Seraphim is strapped in the pilot's seat, guiding the rig towards Darkside. You take the strip of plastic Carmen gave you and copy the frequency into the comms window of the console. You type a simple message. Heading in. Good luck. The console chimes. The message is sent. You hope Carmen is in range to receive it. You search inside your mind, wanting to find Overseer there, but you feel no presence. You hope they'll be ready when called for. You look ahead out of the cockpit towards the distant glimmer of Darkside. Time to take on Lane. When Seraphim finally brings the rig into the sunward docks, everyone in the cockpit lets out a sigh of relief. The approach was simple, routine even. Checking in with the port administration, being assigned a dock, bringing the rig to a stop, all of it familiar, but all of it laced with the tension of knowing that, at any point, it could all go very wrong. The spoof transponder worked. Seraphim shakes his head. So at least we know Carmen's as good as his word. Was there any doubt? Well, Seraphim shrugs. I've got used to things not going to plan by now. He shuts down the engine and unclips from his seat. But I guess there's still plenty of time for that. This place may have kicked our asses last time, but this time, I'm ready. Cadet unclips from her seat. Carmen's the big unknown, but if you trust him, I do too. You can trust Carmen. Flint looks to you. And if Carmen trusts Ankita, well, she's good too. We need to worry about Otsubo, not our allies. You try to imagine Carmen, somewhere on Darkside, perhaps smuggling himself on board a freighter or among the crew of a trusted ally. You hope he's as confident as he seemed about finding Ankita. We need to spend less time worrying about what Carmen has to do and more about what's ahead of us. Seraphim turns to you. The old facility? Hapep, was it? I'm guessing that's deep below all this? Seraphin gestures toward the vast accumulation that is Darkside, a city that grew on the back of the HAPEP solar cells layer by layer. Its chaotic structure is neither planned nor regulated, but the foundation it is built on should be as formal as any corporate facility. That means we need a path down, into the foundations, and I suggest we don't just take the first one we find. Seraphin continues. We scope the path area out carefully, quietly. Look for the right path into the heart of this place. Shouldn't we wait for word from Carmen? Carmen will be in touch. I'll be here when he is. He nods toward the console. The comms window's still open from when you sent the message. Time to take on Darkside one last time. Cadet grins. I like the sound of that. Seraphin nods. I'll hold the rig down. We don't want you losing your exit route, like last time. He winks. Here. He hands you a comms earpiece. I salvaged this from a suit helmet. It isn't secure, but as long as Utsubo doesn't know we're here, should be fine. I'll let you know as soon as I hear from Carmen. He meets your eye. Go get this done, Sleeper. You nod. This is what it all comes down to. Oh, and everyone has crap dice. Love that for us. And I have a glitch die. So we've got the Sunward docks, search docks, question crews. Gaining access to the core of the old HAPEP facility means exploring every path down to find the right descent. The docks are a winding maze of passages, but perhaps one leads into the old substructure. So we definitely need to use our glitch dice on something risky. That's not going to give us too much trouble. And, man, we still have 3. I'd love to be able to get something else at a +2. That was the only reason I didn't take Junie along, since I'm pretty much equal in terms of computer tech. Broken Hex, Shattered Solar Cell. Here, where the old substructure is exposed, might be the perfect place to gain entry to the station's core. Endure and Engineer. Well, this is definitely going to be the place for us to start. Is there any... Oh, the underpass. The underpass cuts deep into the old substructure. Perhaps it can help you access the old core. Indeed. And that seems to be it. So, Broken Hex it is. 20% positive, 80% negative. A little bit of stress. No worries. And just -3, okay. Looking at the layers, you can start to see paths and tunnels through them, but many look blocked. Looking at... okay, same thing. Got another one there. Good news is that Flint and Cadet have a lot of resistance. So if they do fail at their tasks, it's not going to be necessarily the end of the world. So come on, Flint, let's go. Hey! Yeah, he stepped up for sure. Inspecting the layers, there's a place where the old station begins. This is where you need to go. And let's go ahead and finish this up and push. It seems there's nothing further to be found here. Time to move on. So that was the easy one. Now the good news is that we can keep supplying ourselves. And is there anything... We don't have any pluses. So unfortunately we'd be at a 50% negative for all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and play it safe here. And we're just going to crash out in the rig for now. Don't think Jonesy gets any food on this excursion. He'll be upset, but I think he'll deal with it. Oh, hello there. Okay, much better dice this go around. So let's go ahead and start using these engage skills and intuition skills. Well, actually, that would be for me and Cadet, not necessarily for Flint. I don't have anyone with Endure, I just realized. Except for us. Interface. Okay. This is where Flint can do some heavy pushing. Us too, actually. So let's try here. And we have no glitched dice, thankfully. Separating the layers of the station. Oops. The descent through the bulkheads makes for hard-won progress, but at least it's direct. Indeed. Let's keep it going. He's prepared. Flint said so, or they're prepared. Yeah. Don't know if that's necessarily worth it. But a little bit of help here. We'll do this ourselves. It seems there's nothing further to be found. Time to move on. Okay, another one down, another one done. Now we're going to do the same thing for Cadet. Intuition and engage. There are a lot of crews and workers and in and around the docks. Perhaps they know about the paths into the substructure. Ugh. Utsubo enforcers are in the docks, making it hard to talk to anyone. Time to retreat. One more time, Cadet. I believe in you. Oh. Okay, Utsubo enforcers kind of holding down the line. Gotta admire the hustle. A little bit of stress there. We're good. If everything goes well here, we could knock this one out in one go as well. Tunnels hidden in a few places that go down into the dark. Perhaps one of these will work. So let's risk this. Hey, seems there's nothing further to be found. Time to move on. As you're gliding down a dark tunnel, descending deeper below Darkside, your earpiece begins hissing with static. Sleeper. Seraphine's voice sounds distant, faint. Carmen, contact. Met with target. You strain to hear the rest of the message, but the static overpowers his voice. You stop and push the earpiece in deeper. Continue. Stay safe. The line goes dead. Looks like old Carmen's good for it after all. Cadet grins. We better not disappoint him. You continue your descent down, ducking under thick cables and collapsed beams. The busy urban life of the city above seems far away now, hidden from your senses. Its rumble and brightness has been replaced by the cloying dark and growing, oppressive heat. Darkside, and the Habep facility that was built on, has been running unrestrained ever since the collapse, gathering huge volumes of energy, more than its residents could ever use. You feel like you can sense it in the walls, running like a torrent just behind the thin skin of metal and rubber. A large portion of the vast amount of current running through the station is radiated into the void as heat, making Darkside a typically humid station. But down here, that heat is drier and more intense, and sections of wall glow with a fiery intensity. The tunnel levels out and light blasts through the shutter-striped viewing windows on either side, illuminating the passage in strips of burning white. Through the gaps, you can see a labyrinth of walkways and scaffolding tucked into the margins of the vast solar cells. The heat washes across your vinyl skin, making you tense against it. The underside of Darkside must be crossed. New location discovered. Well, that's fun. The substructure. Interface, and there's the Endure. So we basically, this is a job for Sleeper and Flint. Not a whole lot that Cadet can do. Alright. So, let's head back to the rig. Can't use the bunks, unfortunately. So let's go ahead. I was hoping to push so I could go... Oh, maybe I could do that right now. Follow the hard line for an interface, as long as I don't... Okay, we're gonna try this, otherwise things can get pretty hairy. Yeah, there we go. Then we'll lose that. The hardline network of the old station will surely lead back to the core if you can decipher it. Now that you're inside the old facility, the problem is descending quickly and safely to the core. Great, got rid of our stress. The hardlines gather and lead through a deeper, cooler passage. You must be close. That's a lot of progress in one cycle. Hell's bells. Maybe we can have Cadet try and farm some supplies for us. Ooh, okay, well, not with those numbers. Though Flint's in good shape. Okay. Substructure it is. Let's go ahead and go with the sure thing. There we go. There we go. And Flint, let's see if you can go ahead and rock that out for us, buddy. Well, actually, I may go ahead and save their dice if I need it for something. Let's go ahead and go with our R5. You've made it to the core of the old Habeb station. Finally. In your exploration of the Habeb facility, you've seen, through viewing windows and shutter slats, a huge blister projecting out among the hex-shaped cells. You've approached it, circled it, and now you find yourself passing into it, through layer after layer of broken and corroded safety doors. Even if you had not felt Overseer stirring, you would know that this is the mainframe. But you felt the protocol's presence, restlessly turning over your mind like a sleeping animal, occasionally probing your senses, tracking your progress. We feel at home. Overseer's multiple bodies stretch out their arms as if basking in sunlight. The systems, networks, signals, they are fractured and weak, but we know them. Each of the broken heads shares part of a smile. They are welcoming us. Hey! Cadet shakes you awake. This is the place. She gives you a concerned look. Do I need to worry about what's going on in there? You look around, suddenly aware that you've drifted somewhere you do not recognize, in a state you were not in control of. The spherical chamber you float within has a mezzanine set around its circumference, the floor a metal grating you can see through. On this mezzanine are banks and banks of terminals, thick gathered cables snaking away from them across the floor. All of it bakes in the heat of the Habeb's vast resistors. You follow those cables with your eyes. They lead to a cylindrical column coming down from the apex of the chamber. It's corroded and bent a little, with very few of its thousands of lights still flickering. Even in its decayed state, you know immediately. This is the mainframe. You feel a yearning towards it, one you know comes from Overseer. But as you look around for a connection point, all you see are burnt-out cables, rusted sockets, and broken terminals. The glow of warmth makes you feel woozy. You need to work quickly to bring this back online, before the current flowing through this place bakes you into the metal of its walls. Well, that's pleasant. Interface and engineer. Oh, we're gonna get this. Like right off the bat. Let's see. Go, Flint, go. Slowly, with care, effort, and a few unexpected shocks, the connectors are repaired. Flint's willing to do this. No way to interface with the ruined mainframe without clean connectors. Can this even work? We're gonna find out. We're gonna learn today. There we go. Now, We are going to risk it here. And how about that? And then we push, get our 5, and clear this in 1. The mainframe hums and sparks. Now is the time to connect to it. The column of the mainframe pulses with fractured lights, a scattered wave of systems awakening, accompanied by the whine and stutter of the machines all around. Mainframe is up. Flynn looks nervously around the room, now shaking and shimmering with energy. Time to connect. But if I see something that isn't right, I'm pulling you out. You reach out for the prime connector, and with your other hand, touch the socket at the base of your synthetic skull. As you do, a sharp shock runs through your fingers. For a moment, it feels like your vision doubles. But as you pull the connector and its cable across your vision, you see it is only your body that is doubling. The connector a stable object, while your arm leaves ghostly imprints through the air. You wave it back and forth, but the multiplied arms do not follow. Each, instead, takes on a life of its own, grabbing around your forearm and wrist, taking control of your arm. You feel their force as they push your arm across your body, over your shoulder. They push once more, and the connector finds its home in the socket. That familiar flow, but stronger, rushing, rapid. Then a figure, no, 3 figures, descending into it. A swimmer stepping into a river, a sleeper drifting out of an airlock, a symbol being subsumed into a sign. And you, little more than a witness, a marionette, its strings outstretched, mapped hand to hand, leg to leg, to another. The flow freezes, the 3 figures almost overlapping, almost complete, but not quite. Their tripled eyes look back at you in horror. The voice, shrill, silent in your head. There's someone else in here. Heat, glazing your thick vinyl skin. The mainframe a whirring chaos of light and sound. A brightness, and then it fades. The light shutting off, the servers powering down. A single blinking light, the only thing left on the dark column, keeping time like a metronome. What happened? Flint looks you up and down, checking for damage. Did something blow in the system? Did Overseer cross over? You close your eyes and try to recall the events that happened when you connected, playing them back in greater detail. Overseer was there, entering the mainframe, but something froze the system, locked them in place. What did they say? Someone in there with them. You open your eyes. Was this a trap? Someone has trapped Overseer. As you speak, a fizzing static fills one ear. You flinch, thinking it's some new invasion of your system. But then you hear Seraphin through the haze. Sleeper? Come now. Waiting. The rig. It's no use. You'll have to ascend to find out what's going on topside. You look at the mainframe with its single blinking light, still keeping time. Looks like Overseer will have to wait. Trapped in the mainframe. Overseer is still the key to all this. You hope you can get the protocol out, but you need to hear what Seraphin has to say first. You make your way out of the core, ascending back through the layers of the HAPEP, back into the docks. Seraphin meets you at the docking tunnel. They're waiting inside. He shakes his head and nods toward the airlock. Come on. You cross onto the ship in silence and find Carmen in the cockpit, looking out at Darkside as it sprawls across the stars. Sleeper? Carmen turns. Sorry to pull you away, but you need to know what's coming. What's going on? This idiot blew my cover. You turn as Ankita enters the cockpit behind you and Seraphin. You immediately clock the fresh bandage sleeve around her right forearm. "I think you did a pretty good job of that yourself," Carmen retorts. You see a twinkle in his eye that suggests this back and forth is a well-practiced part of their relationship. "Perhaps, but we'll never know now, not after you intervene to rescue me." Her hand goes to her bandaged arm almost instinctively. "Can someone explain what happened?" "I passed the data to Ankita and she tried to broach it with Otsubo." Carmen folds his arms. "But Lane was more paranoid than we expected. He was listening in." "Either that or his lapdog Daichi ratted us out." She shakes her head. "I would have put him down if he hadn't got the jump on me." "Either way," Carmen cuts back in, calmly, "I had to pull Ankita out." Carmen turns back to look over Darkside. "The information did get through though, and now Otsubo is in crisis as its members side with or against Lane. Meanwhile, Daichi is hunting us." Ankita screws up her face. "Which means we need to be careful." "That's why I called you in." Seraphim puts a hand on your shoulder. "You need to watch your back." "Indeed." Carmen turns to face you. "But how about the mainframe? Have you been successful?" You explain the events of this cycle. The mainframe booting up, the successful connection, and then Overseer being locked inside, frozen by some other force. You mention their warning. There's someone else in here. Carmen nods thoughtfully. "Well, unfortunately, we need that mainframe now more than ever. With Ankita out of Otsubo, we have to get the word out." Carmen's right. Otsubo will be distracted by these revelations, but it won't last. Without further proof, they'll all line up behind Lane in time. "We have to free Overseer." "We need the mainframe. Overseer's just our access tool." "If your protocol is being locked in by some counter-protocoller agent, I wouldn't be surprised if it could be traced back to Otsubo." Ankita looks at Carmen. "I know the locations of a few of the Otsubo network nodes. We should hit them first." "No, we need to stay under the radar. Sleeper and their crew will investigate the nodes. Quietly." Carmen nods at you. "You and I'll run interference. Keep Otsubo away from those locations as best we can." "What if we don't find anything?" "Otsubo uses the hardline network of the old facility. If it isn't them locking down the mainframe, it's someone using that infrastructure." You think of the feeling of stasis you felt when Overseer was trapped, and the power required to halt the flow of a mainframe as vast and ingrown as the HAPEP one. Could it just be an Otsubo hacker? You doubt it. "Seems we have a plan." Seraphim looks between you all. "Now we do. I will need you to keep running comms between us." Carmen turns to you. "Sleeper, Ankita will give you the location to dig into, but you keep it quiet. Daichi is out there, and he isn't as easily avoided as some low-ranking enforcer." Ankita slaps the top of a couple of crates and supplies you hadn't noticed before. "Consider these a parting gift from my tenure at Otsubo. Swipe them from a gang storehouse." She grins. "Thought you might need a resupply." "All right." Carmen addresses the room. "Keep quiet, keep in touch. We can still pull this off." Okay, well, we've got a crisis event, one per cycle. Daichi stress, a blade in the dark. Well, I thought we were going to be done with that, but that does not seem to be the case. What do we got here? Dock node. This network access node is part of the Otsubo docking infrastructure. It's out in the open, which presents its own problems. It should only take accessing 2 network nodes to identify the protocol or agent interfering with the mainframe. Okay, so we have some options. Intuition and interface. We've got network access node is tucked beneath the Darkside markets and will be hard to precisely locate. Interface and intuition. I'm sensing a pattern here. Right? Intuition and interface. What about the last one? Does that give us at least another out? Endure an interface. Okay. This network access node is on the top floor of a tower, so physical and digital access will be tricky. That's why Endure is so important. And those are our options, guys. So hopefully we get some good dice as we start the next cycle and continue this on. We need to free Overseer, try and get into this system, and stop Lane. But I think it's probably going to be easier said than done. But we'll end it here and pick it up in the next episode. Hope y'all have enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.